Garvey had a hell of a collection of writings, but he wasn't ironing out the confusion of the history. He was ironing out the prospect of the confusion of the future so that the ones in the future can figure out how to iron the problem out in their present. Right? Same with Du Bois. Y'all think because Du Bois was Red House and Garvey was Blue House and they told us they was beefing that they was beefing. That's your Biggie, Tupac, East Coast, West Coast beef. Come on now. Your mainland islander beef. They telling you they beefing, but how in the hell is both of them attributed for being the father of Pan-Africanism? That don't make sense to me. Depending on, so it's two schools of Pan-Africanist thought. One is the Garveyites, and the other ones is from Du Bois. Du Bois tied back to Frantz Fanon and the French Moors who was trying to break the stronghold. Garvey traced back to the islanders. He's a Jamaican, original Jamaican, right? And so he come from down there because he didn't master the Blue House. He's the court guard. He need to go to war, but he can't go to war because we trapped in a war country. So he can't go to war. He got to educate us out of it. So what'd he do? Start putting out newspapers like 90 Going North. He started writing books. He started writing all kind of message to the people for Marcus Garvey. That's one of the coldest books I ever read for us. Then Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. He went on a lecture campaign to teach. He did all this stuff well, in the future, one of these motherfuckers gonna have enough sense to say, oh, wait, he ain't telling us to literally go back to Africa. He's saying communicate with the motherfuckers over there. And the African gonna tell you, you know African? You know, your people know from Africa? Well, where the fuck we from? Mississippi Delta, clay dirt walking, ruddy red, right? Then they gave these Hebrew Israelites, right? And these are militant, staunchly militant brothers with that patriarchal agenda subjugating the women. If that's what they choose to do and the women agree with it, I don't have nothing to say about that part. But I got something to say about this part. They keep calling pale faces Edomite. Edomite means from the earth. It tells you that right in the book. And we formed him from the dust of the earth. Therefore, we called his name Adama. Edom, the ruddy red one. That Mississippi clay dirt walking Negro. But we ain't gonna pick that up. See, they gonna keep calling the pale face Edomites, and then they gonna keep referring to they self as some Hebrews, Israelites, right? This is what they teach. The Hebrew Israelites, they got the nation of Israel. You got your Hebrew Israelites, and you got the ones that used to be under Yahweh ben Yahweh, but he gone now. Then you got the ones under Benjamin Carter. You know, all of these Negroes teaching this shit don't even know what the fuck they talking about, and they standing on that shit like they standing on business. The only thing is the book that say business, it read Book of Lies. Say Bible stand for basic instructions before leaving earth. I think it means basic instructions about lying to everyone. Because they didn't master that. 5%ers, they straight. They did they followed the tribal mandate from the land when Clarence 13 next set that up. It was for the chiefs that chief. Nation of Islam wasn't for them. This is why he had to set up the nations of gods and earth, because you got tobacco chiefs. Every time they come in the physical form, they're looking for tobacco. You got marijuana chiefs, right? Where you get the term chiefing from. And every time they come back, they gonna use the 420 for the late night flight in order to walk in the dream realm, in order to see what's going on in the physical realm, And then it's going to tie them into the collective of all of the chiefs that ever lived to draw information from historical records of mental reservoir into the present, what we call reading the Akasha. Even that shit, Akasha. Ka-sha. Sha is shoe. The A and the I is a definite article in the ancient tongue, like the word the. And Ka means the body. Shu is the sacred wind or the sacred spirit. And Shu and Tefnut is been replaced with Shu and men in order to have a homosexual frequency resonating. Which I don't have no problem with them people doing what they want to do on their own terms. Just don't be forced. I don't think straight people need to be forcing sex on kids. When the child come and start asking you about sex, then it's time to teach them about sex. But if the child's trying to play with his Tonka toys and the girl's trying to play with her Barbie dolls, you don't need to be talking to them about no damn sex. That ain't on their mind. If you plant that seed too early, that motherfucker gonna hatch early. The girls that grow up not thinking about sex till they teen years, they don't normally lose their virginity till they in their 20s. But the ones that get talked about sex all the time in first grade, second grade, and they getting saturated with that shit, they gonna be a motherfucking teenage mama. They gonna want to know what the hell is these people talking about and how do you do it? I'm gonna find somebody to show me. And it ain't gonna be hard to find somebody to show her, because the little boys have been taught the same thing, so they running around like little horn dogs. So the parents and the grandparents and the uncles and the auntie have been systematically removed from the influence of the child. They've systematically replaced the familial influence over children, and they put it in the hands of what they call celebrities, artificial stellar alignments, artificial star systems. They not the real stars. The real stars is that hard-working mom and pops who acted out for 65 years, got 45 great-great-grandkids, and all of their kids, great-grandparents now too. So them the ones that's the real star that held that family together with the bullshit we going through. Look, they got people so selfish now. The selfishness on earth right now in the chapter of misery has never been so high. This is the most selfish motherfuckers that ever been in the history of the planet. And I remember past lives like I remember this one. And I'm telling y'all now, this selfishness right now is this is a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior that spread across humanity like a forest fire. Jealousy is contagious, and jealousy is a mental defect and a mental disorder. They used to call it dementia praecox, and it was a form of schizophrenia. But they wanted to see if they can replicate the teaching of jealousy, and it works. It works. You see the kids teaching the other kids how to be jealous in church. What they do? The good girl go to her auntie and, can I hold my little cousin? And then she take her around and show all her little friends her little cousin, right? And then the little baby see one and reach for him, and what she do? Pull him back. Pull him back, right? What that's doing? It's programming jealousy. It's teaching them to differentiate the value in people and to disregard your inner desire to connect with people based on what another motherfucker is telling you. But the child don't know what they doing because it was done with them when they was a baby. So they just repeating the cycle. These motherfuckers threw that shit like an alley-oop straight into our communities because they knew how communal we was. They knew how our children played amongst each other, and they started then instilling jealousy, hatred, mistrust, all that shit they was instilling into them to turning them on each other. Teaching the ones to break peace, gossiping motherfuckers. My man, I heard of I posted this on my in my story last week, but my man was doing a rap. And this motherfucker started out with the hardest lines I ever heard. This motherfucker said, I'm tired of gossiping bitches and bitch ass niggas that gossip like bitches. I was like, oh man, he just confirmed everything I felt in one little sentence. Sick of these motherfuckers. Sick of them. So, yeah. But the people now waking up faster than they ever have, but it ain't fast enough for this shit to be over. We running out of time. This celebration is coming up too fast for us to be functional during it. We're going to be doing construction and celebrating at the same time. We supposed to did the construction this year. Somebody somewhere dragging their feet. That ain't me. It ain't Empress Rearbird. It's all these other motherfucking niggas that's going to want a piece of the pie, that's dragging their feet. And when we tell them motherfuckers get to the end of the line and we'll consider you, they gonna feel like they've been, oh, these motherfuckers. No. When you had the opportunity to use your resources and your platform for the collective to move on this shit, y'all was dragging y'all feet. So we dragging our feet on getting you your shit. Hope you can make it. The fiat did. What you gonna do? Right? So, nursery rhymes was to teach children how to read what they call rhythmic code. The nursery rhymes of today is called rap music. And the messages that come through the music tell you more accurate information than the news reporter on the 6 o'clock news about the environment that you in. It's determining whether you can if you can pick the code up. All of the rappers been telling us shit over the years. Even the ones that we call trash, right? The rappers that we didn't want to hear because we didn't like what they was talking about. They telling you something. Lil Nas X is telling you something. Young Thug is telling you something. 2 Chainz, Titty Boy is telling you something. Are y'all listening and are y'all reading or are y'all just skimming through shit? Jay-Z was telling y'all something. No, he wasn't a conscious rapper, but he was still telling you some conscious shit you need to know for fucking around in the streets. Jeezy was telling you something. Lil Wayne was telling you something. Weezy F baby, mean Weezy fucking baby. Come on now, they telling you shit about the people around them in their music, but can you hear it? Right? I wish Birdman would pull up on me to about put some respect on my name. I will put some respect on this motherfucking right. I can't stand him. Cause he's a whole buck breaker. He's a whole buck breaker. He get these little boys from the hood, promising them record deals and forcing them to some sexual shit. And it got nothing to do with music. Unless he making a music video about some freaky shit. But then he would, look, these niggas is rotten to the motherfucking core. They rotten to the core and they want us, the ones that gotta suffer for they fucking dirt, to not say nothing. Bitch ass nigga, I'm saying something. Right? You think that shit, that Diddy shit ain't new? That Diddy shit ain't new. All they did was try to shuffle the ball, a flea flicker. right? They accusing Diddy of the same shit they accuse Epstein of, and the same shit that look on Epstein Island. Y'all not need to know the history. They got black and white 35 millimeter film of motherfuckers back in the motherfucking silent film era doing the same dirt that they got these other motherfuckers doing on telephone camera now. This is not new. Ever since Hollywood been established, you needed a way to control your hottest talent so you can milk them for everything they worth. If you can't control them, then you blackball them. Listen, you remember it was a guy played on Welcome Back, Kotter. I don't remember his name, but one of y'all gonna remember his name. In Welcome Back, Kotter, he was Freddie Boom Boom Washington, right? He was the fastest and hottest rising one of us. I don't even know what to call us no more. These niggas are so fucked up. But he couldn't get a role. I was like, what did this motherfucker do where he can't get a role? Coming to find out, they wouldn't give him a part in anything. He couldn't even get a commercial because he wouldn't fuck babies. He wouldn't molest them kids on set. He didn't go to their child abuse parties. Yep, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. That's his name. He couldn't get a role until they came with the VH1 special. And Michael Jackson said, the only way I'll sign off if y'all let him play Joe. If he don't play Joe, I'm not going to sign off on the Jackson's right to do the VH1 special. So they cast him as Joe Jackson in the Jackson series. Why did they do that? Go back. Back in the early 90s, I think it was like 91, before Michael ever waged war on Hollywood. When he decided to wage war, he was doing a VH1 or either an MTV Music Award. Most of us not going to remember this, but some of us old enough was in their 20s around this time. They going to remember exactly what I'm talking about. Michael Jackson, at the end of his performance, had these huge turbine fans blowing his shirt to the back. And he stood up on the stage and did something called the T-pose. And all of these kids came running out, grabbing Mike around the legs. That's when Michael Jackson was telling us, I'm about to sacrifice myself for these kids. The next thing that happened after that, it wasn't no sex thing. They was accusing him of nefarious business deals for buying the Beatles catalog from under Paul McCartney, and they was trying to wage war on him in the courts to get the 52% of Sony that he worked them out of through contracts. When he executed the contract, he had controlling interest. And having controlling interest, he owned the company. Now they trying to take Sony from him. This is way back in 91, 92. I used to be listening to the contract reports of Michael Jackson, and I used to be like, that's something, he's smart because he keep asking for percentages of Sony. Every time he signed a contract, he asking for percentages of Sony. Each contract is executed separately because they signed separate one from the other. They're not a continuation of the original negotiation. But so these pieces that Sony is signing off. Now remember, Mike is at this time, Thriller is, they catch the record companies using other artists' label relabeling the albums with the other artist's label so that all of the record sales from Thriller can stop going straight to Michael Jackson's credit. Now they selling Thriller under John Mellencamp album or